Uh, uh. Good morning. Good morning.
What's up, everybody? Morning Deuce for Tuesday, July 12th. How is everyone doing? Pokemon Go. It's sweeping the world, right? It's been out for like 3 days. 7.5 million downloads in the US. They're making $1.6 million a day. It already has more active users than Tinder and Twitter. Not Twinder, because that's not a thing. It already has more active users than them. The average person is spending 45 minutes of their day on the app, which is double what people spend on Snapchat or Instagram, which are like the other two apps that people spend most of their time on. It's unreal. It's unreal. You would think if Nintendo knew they were going to kill it this bad, they would have figured out a way to do this earlier. I saw a great post that was like 2000 Nintendo's mobile platform plan. Ignore. Wait 10 years, change the world. And apparently that's what they're doing because supposedly the company's stock went up 25%, almost $8 billion in value in just 4 days from how many people downloaded this app so quickly. And the question is why? Well, obviously nostalgia, one of the best-selling video games of all time. Everybody played it. Not gender specific, none of that stuff. Then they had the TV show, the trading cards. They marketed it perfectly, right? And now everyone's kind of in the virtual reality craze. And this is a nice halfway between point where you don't have to fully submit to it, but you can kind of do it as a time waster. I haven't played it. I don't need any more time wasters, and I know I would be addicted. I know it's like it would be a drug where the minute I throw the first Pokeball, it's over. Game over, I'm doing it. But this is why. I think the sense of adventure, the game captures it so well. We just want to find treasure. This is where I'm going with this. I don't know if you guys have ever done geocaching. It's where you use your phone. It used to be done by hand, but it's where you use your phone and GPS satellites to. There's communities, like people hide things, not things of value, but things, and give you clues to try to find them. And you use a GPS satellite and clues and try to find them. And then when you find them, you sign your name. And sometimes there's little trinkets and you do like a take it, leave it thing. It's all about finding buried treasure. Like I know it. The Pokemon thing is the same. You're just trying to find a rare Pokemon to try to catch, and it's all like essentially the same thing as trying to find a treasure. Get through, find stuff. I think there is nothing cooler in the world that could happen than finding buried treasure. Like if you gave me a map and I found a treasure that nobody else knew about, would be the culmination of my existence as a male on planet Earth to find priceless buried treasure. I would want nothing else at all. It would be the coolest thing. So this is apparently not everyone feels that way because this was a debate I had today at work or over the past couple of days at work. It has extrapolated. But at first it was like, would you find buried treasure or you're allowed to have oral sex with any person on the planet one time that you choose, right? And I'd say it was like 80-20 people were like, give me the treasure, right? But there's still 20% crazy people who said no, 80-20. Then it was like, would you be willing to give up all oral sex in order to find buried treasure? And that split the room probably like 40-60 in favor of the 40% said treasure, 60% said no, they're not giving up oral sex for the rest of their lives. So I think they're insane because if you find a treasure that's worth more than any of the rest of that stuff, you can still figure out another way to enjoy yourself physically or whatever, romantically. And I don't think that's something that goes on for very long eventually as you get older, but treasure lasts forever. You know, like diamonds are forever. Well, so are gold doubloons, right? So you got to go treasure. I mean, it's the long run choice. Plus, that money, I mean, you're definitely starting to find some classier friends, who might be, things are going to be fine. Things are going to be fine if you get that treasure. And then it culminated in, would you give up sex in any way with anyone else for buried treasure? Like you can find buried treasure, but you have to give up everything. And I think there's two people that I've spoken to that are on my same board. I would do it. I would do it because it culminates down to this. What is your sex life worth in a monetary value? And so after much debate, I think probably like somewhere in the 10 million range. Not that it's that cool, but that's just probably the amount of money it would take for me to give it up and just be like, boom. And then someone was saying, well, what about you're telling me if I gave you 5 million, you wouldn't give it up? I want to find the treasure because I want the story and the adventure and the pricelessness of it all. 5 million if I get to find it in treasure, 10 million if you just give it to me straight up. And that's the value. But that's what it is. We all want to find treasure or Pokemon or geocache or whatever. We just want to find something that no one else has discovered and catch it. Keep it, find it. Give me a map. I mean, if I'm a billionaire, if I win something, I'm going to hide money and make a map and see if people can find it. Like, it's going to be willed. If I have a lot of money at the end, you're all invited to my funeral, and I will write a treasure map and a bunch of riddles, and someone will be in charge of navigating it, and it will be willed to you. Like, I'm going to be the guy who does that. You have to find part of my treasure because it's the coolest thing. I want someone to do that to me. Like, I want someone close to me to die eventually when they're good and ready with a lot of money buried somewhere or hidden and give me a treasure map to find it. And I know people are like, wouldn't you just rather have the money? No, I want to find the treasure. That's it. That's it. That's the culmination of my life. And Muppet Treasure Island is a top 5 movie of all time. And the book was pretty good too. I think it's Robert Louis Stevenson. It's a solid book, but Muppet Treasure Island takes the cake. Isn't that Tim Curry? Right? Tim Curry or Tim Robbins, whatever, the one from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah, he's in that. I'm looking it up right now, but I'm 98% sure he's Long John Silver. So think about that. I mean, that's a win right there, right? Boom. So anyway, that's pretty much the end of part 1. Yeah. Everybody wants to find buried treasure. What would you be willing to give up to find buried treasure? What would you be willing to give up? And it was Tim Curry. So you know it's good. If you haven't seen Muppet Treasure Island, your childhood was probably horrible. And I feel for you. That's the end of part 1. Part 2, we're completely switching gears. I've talked about my wall of inspiration before, and I've talked about the bucket list of items that I've kind of been putting together, which I will occasionally share 1 or 2 things from. Sometimes they merge. Sometimes something that makes the bucket list ends up on the wall. And I had one the other day that just came up, and I'm not really sure how or where it came up, but I wrote, I want to be knighted, like, Sir Paul McCartney or Sir Elton John, which, I mean, I guess those 2 people are just people with musical talent. But, the first person I told you have to be British to be knighted. Well, if you watched A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger, he outperformed his class system and they broke the rules for him and he became Sir Thatcher, which isn't even a thing. So R.I.P. to Heath Ledger and Sir Thatcher, but keep the dream alive. I can become a knight. But also it was like maybe I could just be the type of person who embodies the quality of a knight, of someone who could achieve knighthood, right? Those qualities, right, of just being awesome. And I probably should look up what those qualities are, but I know they're gangster, right? And then today in history, July 12th, right, President Abraham Lincoln signs a law basically starting the U.S. Army's Medal of Honor. Where Congress can give out the Medal of Honor. They had the Medal of Valor for the Navy before, but the Medal of Honor started in 1862. So here's some of the qualities for that, right? Most distinguished non-commissioned officers and privates most distinguishing themselves by their gallantry in action and other soldier-like qualities during the present insurrection, right? And that eventually becomes the highest military honor, right? And it's given to those who've distinguished themselves in actual combat at risk of life beyond the call of duty. More than 3,400 men and women have won the U.S. Medal of Honor, the Army's Medal of Honor. So if you think about that, beyond the call of duty, I'm not sure Paul McCartney or Sir Elton John have gone beyond the call of duty, but you've distinguished yourself in some particular way, going beyond what anyone could have imagined, right? So whether you're a military person and that's your trade and that's where you go above and beyond, or whatever it is in your life, having that experience to push beyond the boundaries of what everyone wants, to really set yourself aside. And we talked about this the other day, almost the ignorance of not knowing what limitations are so you can just break through them. Like, why not just be knighted? Why not shoot for that quality? Why not shoot for the Sir Arthur quality? Everyone said the sword couldn't be pulled out of the stone. That little kid, he didn't know any better, so he just pulled that thing out, right? Might as well try. So that's it. That's the end of part 2. Be a knight. Get a Medal of Honor in your heart. Morning Deuce. I'm out.